In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 106. Yeah, so we want to talk about a few NHL things today.
Yeah, some fictitious, some real. Um,
Yeah,
this one has been kind of in the works for a while. It took a long time to create the graphics. I actually archived it for a little bit, but because it's what we do. We do a little fictitious, we do a little nonfiction.
right.
This one a little fictitious. It comes to us consensually through a Twitter account that was created, a bot account uh, called the NHL Draft Bat or NHL Draft Bot, I should say. Sean, if you would be kind enough to just give the username that's in there of the person who created it, I believe the handle is on there.
Yeah, RYBRZ.
Yeah. So can you just repeat that one more time for me?
RYBRZ.
All right, so at RYBRZ, I DM'd him in the fall. I said, "Hey man, me and a buddy, we do a podcast. Your page is really funny, just because of the random chance that it is. Um, and what it is, it takes NHL teams, it takes assigned values from a list, and then it just randomly says, with this pick in the draft, like the Penguins have selected, and then a fictitious character. So I said, hey man, I'd love to do like a full actual draft and play it out. Would you be all right with me taking some of the stuff that you've posted through this? And he said, absolutely. Uh, so now here we go. We have a little bit of a actual draft that's been put together.
Right,
So I
so,
mean,
yeah, so we
go ahead.
went through, I think, all the teams. We chose a few. And so you want to just go through a few of them?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll go through all of them. Maybe not in the most depth that I can, but let me pull it up on my computer here so that I have the entirety of what I need to see here. So we're gonna start out in the Metro, and just a little bit of a preamble here. I did uh kind of every team got a pick in the first few rounds, and then I played it out kind of like a real NHL draft where first round picks more valuable, less trades, and then as it went on, I just swapped picks every now and then. So some, I didn't assign a number round pick to any of these on the graphic, but um, there are some teams that have more picks than others.
Right.
Um, so notably of the Carolina Hurricanes, Billy Joel was selected. And if you wouldn't mind here, Sean, if you would go through some of these, I'm going to see if I can pull up my
Right.
file here.
So, like, yeah, we have Billy Joel selected by the Hurricanes, right? And
Mhm.
notable for the Blue Jackets, we have Santa Claus. Uh, yeah, like, and the Hurricanes. Why don't we just do team by team, actually, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so we have
Yeah.
Billy Joel first,
Hmm.
right? Uh, on the list, and then we have the Kool Aid Man,
Hmm.
Beast Boy, Beavis.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know how to say
Puhatu.
the next one.
Yeah, we'll go through these because Puhatu is one of the Bionicles.
Right,
So if you're a
and
Lego fan,
Rick Grimes.
Rick Grimes is a character from The Walking Dead.
Wouldn't
So
know.
yeah, so no, there's going to be ones here that we don't know. And I will say, number one overall pick here, it was kind of ironic. the Staten Island native Joe Gatto goes to the New York Islanders, the
Right.
number one overall pick.
Hmm.
They also were able to draft Han Solo, Luigi, Otto Rocket, Dora the Explorer, Chick Hicks, which I'm not sure what that is. Let's find out. That is one of the cars from the movie Cars.
Oh,
Um, and then they finished off with Brian Boitano, the figure skater.
right. So, I mean, Dora the Explorer is going to take a while to be in the minors before possibly ever coming up.
I like the wordplay there. She's going to be in the minors. Also, maybe climate, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
the
climate's
translation to ice might be a little bit difficult there.
right.
She's often in a beach landscape, so
I
this could
mean,
be.
you got Han Solo also in space with a freaking uh, space cruiser or whatever.
Yeah. So the real question here when we go through these is who's your center, who's your top player, who's your goaltender, and I look at this and I'm like, maybe the guy from Cars is the best goaltender
Yeah,
because statistically speaking, we're talking about a guy who literally can cover a 10 by 6 object.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, uh, for Columbus, maybe their goaltender, the man Santa Claus. I don't
yeah,
know. It's going to be hard for Luka Doncic to move goalpost to goalpost, but they do have Donald Duck, and then they have the famous Pokemon Muck.
yeah,
Hannah Montana, I don't know, maybe a winger. It doesn't strike me as someone who actually plays along the boards very
yeah.
well.
But okay,
Um,
back to the Islanders though. Who do you think their like center and wingers are? I don't know. I think like Luigi has like a good shot. One of
I
those.
think Luigi or Auto Rocket, if we're talking rocket power, we're talking athleticism, and we're talking, if I'm correct here, the cast of Rocket Power did play street hockey. So
Yeah.
maybe the next Bo Bennett,
Ah,
the
I don't know if you want to be
California
that though.
native. But it is the California native that really just did not play ice hockey.
Right.
All right.
Um.
Let's cover the Devils here, Sean.
All right. So we have Woody, Velma, Young Sheldon, one, the whole of One Direction, Sal
Yes.
Volcano,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Freddy
Volcano.
Krueger, Michelangelo, Lisa Simpson, and Kevin Weeks.
Now, I will say, Lisa Simpson, probably a good candidate to transition over to GM. Uh, Probably not very.
No.
She's one of those like the backup quarterback who's like he's really good at being the sideline coach, but once you put him in the game, I don't know. You do have your version of Tom Wilson and Freddy Krueger. That's
Yeah.
going to be interesting. And then you have Kevin Weeks. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. He did play for the Devils, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Let's find out
Did he
here.
played for a New York team at least?
He did play for the Devils, so he was a goaltender at the end of his career with the Devils. Probably good in the room, just because locker room presence as a media guy. Um, I've seen how it goes with Sal Volcano in net. Having watched Impractical Jokers, that's not going to be a fit. Although, there's not a lot of size here outside Freddy Krueger for anywhere in this lineup. I
Yeah.
guess you have One Direction as a good chemistry line, but you do have the combination of Woody being a toy figure, Velma and young Sheldon kind of being maybe too young of a core otherwise. Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know. This one doesn't really strike fear into the hearts of many.
Right.
Uh,
All right. How about we look at the Rangers? So we
yeah.
have
So.
Jack Black, Chicken Little,
Mhm.
Maggie Simpson, Disco Stew, and Johnny Test.
Right. So Disco Stew, if I remember correctly, was another Simpsons character. Yes.
Yes.
Johnny Test. Look, there. Unfortunately, here the league as a whole is going to get very much younger
Hmm.
because there's a lot of cartoon presence here. Maggie Simpson, I feel like Jack Black's your goalie just because nobody else has
Nobody
really
else has
any
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 size.
size. Um, Chicken Little could surprise you with some finesse moves. I feel like the agility of a small chicken. Um, but there's not much going on here. I think you have to add via free agency. I do think Jack Black is by far kind of like in the real life New York Rangers, the best player is in net.
Yeah, fair.
So, yeah, let's move on. The Rangers didn't have a lot of ads here. So we're going to go on to the Flyers, who their first round pick was a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise, which is interesting. But I think Sean and I agreed here where we were going to screw the Flyers with whatever pick they got first anyway. Uh,
Yeah.
so then they added a supplemental piece in Kermit the Frog. They got Buzz Lightyear, Joe Swanson, which again, we had to screw Philly here. So pardon the handicapped community. This is not a dig, but it's kind of hard to play ice hockey on wheels. Um, we
Gotta
got
strip some
Potty the
skis
Parrot.
to that to those wheels.
We can add skis all you want. That's not going to help along the boards.
Yeah.
Potty the Parrot, which I believe is the parrot from SpongeBob, Captain Haddock, and then Sean Mendez for your top 40 hit. So I don't know here. Like, I feel like how good the goaltender is depends on the size of the jar of mayonnaise. Because if we're going straight from the manufacturer here, we can fill a whole net. Um, Now, mayonnaise doesn't have the thickest density, so it is thick in density, but a puck could definitely cross the line off of
Yeah,
a
but if it's a
70-mile.
jar of mayonnaise, like what type of jar are we talking about here?
Well, we're talking Hellman, so we're talking big in the base. We're not talking oval. We're not talking peanut butter jar shape. We're talking
No, but we're talking
wider than
like
it
a
is.
standard crappy plastic jar.
I believe so. I believe so. But I think that it's kind of hard to tell because we are talking name brand here. We're not
True.
talking store brand. We're not talking squeezable. We're talking jar. So I don't know. This one's interesting. Kermit the Frog. I feel like too honest of a team player. Like
Buzz
yes,
Lightyear.
he'll get you stats, but Kermit is a role player. We know what happens when Miss Piggy's in the area.
Yeah, true.
Buzz Lightyear, good for flying around, your regular Brandon Tanev type, but will he put pucks in net? Joe Swanson, I mean, it's going to be hard for him to get on the ice for shifts. Let's just say what it is. Once he's off the ice and back on the bench, mobility is going to be tough to get back on there.
Yeah,
Uh, the parrot, the parrot captain line has potential just because thievery, but if it's paired with Sean Mendez at the same time, I just don't know that that's the right culture fit.
true.
So I'm wary of this. I think it has potential, but you got to play the pieces correct.
Right, so how about we go to the Penguins next?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy with a Walter White first round pick. That's not the best PR uh beginning to this. Um,
True.
we got the bigger brother of iCarly and Spencer Shea. We got Chris Griffin in net because I think you have to.
Yeah,
Um, we got President Scroob from Spaceballs, which Mel Brooks is my guy, so yeah, I'm more than fine with that. A little bit devious, but then again, could play very well with Walter White. I'm not exactly sure who Isaac the Eye of Oculate is. Um, and then we have Nosferatu again, a little bit devious. And then it's good because with all these guys who are experimenting with drugs and paraphernalia, we have the first ever doctor. So we'll be fine. The Penguins are no stranger to man games lost. It's in fact in reality where they find
yeah.
themselves a lot. So, you know, this guy, he can work for one of the local companies here and get paid a third of what he should. So yeah, I don't see this really detracting from reality too much. I feel like it's controversial in itself, but then again, so is giving 6-year deals to 30-plus-year-old players. So, you know, business as usual.
All right, and on to the Capitals. So we have the Undertaker. Uh,
Again, a Tom Wilson build here. The Undertaker, the wrestler.
yeah. Inkling Girl. Uh,
Right? Let's find out who that is. Inkling Girl. Because I feel like we have to clarify that. That is from the Splatoon anime.
ah.
I get. Oh no, it's a Nintendo character. My
Yep.
apologies.
Uh,
Then we have
Alloy.
Alloy,
Alloy.
who is a saint, a
Uh,
fictional character in the form of a saint. We have Greg
Greg
Wyshynski,
Wyshynski.
and that is,
Some
let's
kitten.
see,
A cute kitten. And Weird
yeah,
Al.
you get a cute kitten to combat the fact that you have a wrestler on. We can't give you too much here. Greg Wyshynski is a radio personality. Um, he is a hockey based radio
Yeah. So
personality.
he can commentate your games. He should pretty much transition out of the sport though.
Yes, but he shouldn't commentate your games. He resigned from Yahoo Sports, and he's now with ESPN. Um, so yeah, he also has some ties to some videos featuring John Scott's All Star Game, so that can't go well. Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic finishes us off, and I don't know what you want to make of this. This team's all talk, um, literally and figuratively. A kitten is not going to strike fear into the hearts of many, but then again, neither were the Capitals in the second round for many years. So, well, what's new there?
Yeah. So on to the Atlantic with the Boston Bruins.
Also, I will say I like how easy it is to like make jokes about this. Like, we have no notes here between both of us, and
Yeah.
it's just flowing how easy this is.
Yeah. So they start with Howard Wolowitz.
Of the Big Bang Theory, which is nice. You always want to start your franchise with a short Jewish man. Normally, in the sense of you want to start a franchise with somebody who actually has financial stability and can build a franchise. Not so much here. We're actually building out the team's players.
Yeah.
We have Phil Swift, which, if I recall correctly, is one of your TV infomercial sellers. He's the flex tape guy.
Right.
So, really good in a boat, not so much on the ice.
Right.
We have Timmy Turner's mom from Fairly Odd Parents.
Great.
We have we have Raphael of the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Ninja
Turtles.
Turtles. Lone
Uh,
Star.
again of Spaceballs fame.
Yeah.
Um, really good with a helmet, which is not going to be a big transition onto the ice. The only issue may be the size of the helmet, but hey, maybe he plays goaltender and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Um, we have Bubble Bass, which if I that is of SpongeBob fame and
Right.
of showing belly button fame apparently. We have Mermaid Man, also of SpongeBob fame, and then we finish it off with two more physical characters in Roman Reigns
And
of the
Bart Simpson.
WWE, yeah, and then Bart Simpson. So I mean, this is Bruins hockey. It's all physical. It doesn't start the way you want it to, but it certainly ends that way. You have Raphael. Uh, you do have a superhero in theory in Mermaid Man. I don't know what you want to make of that. Um, but there's not a lot of. I feel like you can't expect a lot of productivity here because you
Right.
have a TV salesman, you have Bart Simpson, and I mean Howard Wolowitz, as smart as a guy as they come, but athletically inclined, probably not. So I'm not sure that this is Broad Street or not. That's Philly. That's Broad Street Bullies. But I'm not sure this is Beantown hockey. So
Nope. Yeah. Onto the Sabres, which they solve all of their
they
financial
solve all
woes
their
if they have
money.
any with
Yeah,
Mr. Beast, I guess.
yes,
Followed
yeah.
by
Mr. Beast is not going to score a lot of goals by himself, but he has the financial fortitude to offer any goaltender $30,000 on the spot to let him shoot one in. And that's going to be tempting because it's the NHL and it doesn't bring in as much revenue as other leagues. Who knows? A backup goaltender doesn't make anywhere near the money of a solidified number one. 30 grand is not nothing.
right, followed by Bad Piggy.
Yeah. Bad Piggy being of your Angry Birds fame.
Right,
Easy to knock over, but then again, a lot of players from the Sabres have been. You have Don Cheadle, which I mean, if there's ever been a locker room guy, a guy who was built to be a head coach, probably Don Cheadle. But then you have to be a leader in a room that includes Timmy
Timmy
Turner and
Turner.
Baby Mario.
Yeah,
And you have Timmy Turner without the Fairly Odd Parents here. We're talking
just
a superhero without his powers.
right.
So, I mean, it's going to be tough. Baby Mario doesn't make things easier.
But I
So
mean,
we'll
I
see.
don't think Baby Mario makes things much harder.
I'm not sure it makes things much harder either. It's just again, this draft lends itself to a lot of players with speed out of the animated and video game world.
Right.
Not so much, when you were talking actual real, or TV personality characters. Um, so we're getting from pools of both areas. We're not so much getting well-rounded hockey players. Maybe there will be one or two, but I'm not really sure.
Okay. On to the Red Wings, starting off with Dwight Schrute.
Yeah, so Dwight Schrute, hardest working player in the league, or at least in the East. You know, incredibly valuable work ethic, but it doesn't go noticed very well. So this guy is built for the third line.
Right.
Maybe second line potential, but he's a 30 goal scorer who will never be an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have Wallace, of Wallace and Gromit. Um, just, I mean, this guy is not built to withstand any kind of physicality at all.
Right.
He's a big, lanky guy, no real meat to him. But then you have Rick Harrison, and a Pawn Star as well as I do can find a good deal. Um, so maybe Rick Harrison, he knows sports valuations, he knows memorabilia. Maybe he's a good distraction on the ice. So he's a good chirper, if you will. Um,
Yeah. Then you have
Pull up to the face-off circle saying that this fourth line center's jersey is worth about $25.
Rajesh
Rajesh
Kotrapali.
Kutherpal, yep, of Big Bang Theory. I think again we're gonna have some trouble with that one. Brains over brawn,
Right.
but then you have Muscle Man,
There's your
and
Braun.
yeah, Muscle Man, the good complementary piece. They're a package deal in theory, and then not only do you get the complementary piece, you get a late round steal in Lionel Messi. And soccer and hockey, they kind of tend to blend in terms of how the game is played,
Yeah,
and
yeah, but he
Messi
runs
can
on his feet.
score.
Can he balance on his skates?
I don't know. I don't know. If you can deke, you can skate in theory. I mean, I can't, but I have bad knees. Um, so I don't know. I trust Messi to do it better than anybody else. And then we have Richard Hammond. He's an English journalist for the BBC. That's not going to come in great, but a lot of great play-by-play commentators are born from a relatively unknown playing career, so we never know there. And then we finish with Kent Brockman, another Simpsons character. This guy is already built for the booth as well, so maybe we have a tandem in the works here, but we don't have a lot of playing
You
career here.
did skip over the Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, eating the competition, I guess in theory. I'm not exactly see Pac-Man on skate is a conundrum in itself because Pac-Man doesn't have legs, as far as I know. I mean, it
Right,
really depends on the version of Pac-Man that you're getting here. If we're
right,
talking old arcade, there is no legs. But then if we're talking as the years went on, we are talking legs, and that in itself is a real bugaboo.
right. All right, now to the Florida Panthers. They start with Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders, I don't know what you want to make of that one there. That one is good and bad. You never know. He's a prankster in the other team's locker room, like Flurry. He just leave a catered meal of KFC behind, and all of a sudden, everybody else in the Atlantic is sluggish. Uh, but is he as devious as Tony Soprano, who's also joining this team? I'm not too sure. Soprano's a little bit more clear cut with his intentions. I do think Colonel Sanders, the spice of life, if you will. He can provide a lot, but we don't know if it's hockey related.
Right, and then we have Larry the Lobster. I think we just
We're
froze
talking
over
big.
his standard habitat.
Well, Larry the Lobster of SpongeBob, I think. We're talking the big muscular guy.
Right,
So yeah, he has potential, but the problem is he's a lobster. We're talking short arms. We're talking limited wingspan. We're
right.
talking about a guy that's going to have a lot of trouble with a puck that stays on the ground. Um, So, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's more of an AHL affiliate kind of guy, but in the middle rounds, you can work with that. Um, then we have Olmec from the Nickelodeon show, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Stonewall in net. I think you have to put this guy in goal. Mostly because, like I said, he is made of stone. He's an eternal guardian, so you never have to worry about him retiring. But, the fans may want something different at some point.
Okay.
Do you want to take the next one?
Oh, well, we were on Mario and Peter
I was
Pettigrew.
going to let you take a turn. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. So now we have Mario, not the baby version, right?
not the baby
So
version. We're talking classic.
yeah, but the problem is where are all his power ups, right? So
Right. No banana peels in this world.
no banana peels, no bullet bill, no blue shell. Man, what is he gonna do? All his power is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. And then we finish off with Peter Pettigrew of Harry Potter fame.
Hey, I mean the Panthers can throw an actual rat on the ice, I guess.
I guess that this is where you know a little bit better than me. This guy is an eyesore to look at, though. He looks like
Yeah,
he's been hit in the face with a few pucks.
but I'm pretty sure the Panthers like have rats to throw on the ice when they win or something. I'm not something like that. So there you go, an actual one. That's about as good as you're gonna get. All right, on to the Canadians. So they start off with Kodak Black.
Um, we know Kodak's been to a hockey game before, not necessarily in the way of watching a hockey game, but rather being entertained by a woman at a hockey game. Not sure that skill set's going to translate to on the ice. We're just happy that he seems to know his way around an arena. Um,
Right,
for the Canadians, that's probably not a good first pick, but it's not going to appeal to the good old Canadian crowd. But it's something to where it's probably going to sell tickets, because it's going to turn out in a way that just nobody's going to anticipate other than Panthers
do you
fans who
think
saw
do you think Elon Musk on your team would sell tickets?
it. In Canada, yes. In America, no, because what Elon Musk has done for the economy is controversial in itself, but it's controversial mostly here. Um, it's a little bit different there, so we'll see. Right, and then we've got Clash the Royal King. Well, I guess iOS phone game fame. So you know from that alone that this guy's a wash because who the fuck
Right.
actually
So
plays these games?
then we have Shrek. So are we of the opinion that Shrek's gonna be the goalie?
I think leading candidate for sure.
Okay.
I think that you you have him as a fortified defensive piece for sure. But I
Hmm.
do think that you have an offensive piece in Daffy Duck. And yes, I know I'm skipping over Fozzie Bear, but Daffy Duck, if there's anybody who can navigate and deke, it's him with that absolute high octane energy. Um, Fozzie Bear, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that guy actually will leave the initial face-off circle. He seems to be somebody who, once comfortable in where he is, will not navigate outside of that.
Right. I'm agreeing to that. All right. So the Senators then, they have Milhouse, Von
And Houghton from The
Houghton,
Simpsons. Let's just go with Millhouse from The Simpsons.
Milhouse,
Um, absolute punching bag to start off, but then you have Pikachu, and
Pikachu, yeah,
I mean Pikachu is good enough to, I guess, lock down some defensive support.
and he has
But I
some
feel
speed, but can he balance it with the ice?
it's going to be tough. That's going to be tough, but we know he's a lightning rod, so um,
Yep.
we then complement that with Brian Griffin. Brian Griffin is going to be your guy who probably fucks up, takes a lot of penalties, then chirps the ref on the way to the box
Yep.
because accountability not his forte. We have Biggie Cheese of Ratatouille fame, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, from the Barnyard franchise. So Biggie Cheese is a rat rapper. Um, so I mean, I don't know. It's based on the rapper Biggie Smalls, but Biggie Cheese, does he have does he have the ability to go top two, so to speak? Can you get him to shoot in the upper holes?
Right. Then we have Sora.
Sora is from the Disney Kingdom Hearts video game series. Does not appear to be a franchise piece, but then again, he does wield a key a lot, so maybe, um, maybe that's a wordplay thing. Um, and then the Senators, they did something different. They drafted you, the listener of this. So
Yeah.
let's hope your passport's ready, and let's hope you know how to skate. And just remember, you're gonna have to buy a lot of hockey sticks here, and a good hockey stick will cost you above $100. So get ready to spend about $1,000 on
I
equipment, if
mean, you
not more.
probably also need pads,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
gloves,
Your
skates.
your budget here is going to be stupidly high.
Yeah.
But the game and Canada want you, so uh, just be happy that somebody actually wants you more than your current life support. Um, and just remember, you weren't the last pick that the Senators had either. They also took Gronk, who's going to be an absolute lockdown guy in net. This guy is built like a brick from the waist up, and when he's in the butterfly position, you can only imagine what he's capable of doing. Not to mention the fact he he's the Emperor's New Groove guy. So like this guy has the ability to really work some magic here. Unfortunately, Senators not the best drafters. They also took Grandpa Simpson. So for as good as they did with finding some talent in the middle rounds, they drafted basically Jim Rutherford now to play for their team. And who knows, maybe Grandpa Simpson is Canadian at heart and this is a feel good story, but
Right,
I
but
don't know.
I want to talk about the last one, right? They drafted Pepsi Man, right? So like, what are they expecting from Pepsi Man? Just like sugar and caffeine for the rest of their roster?
I guess so. I mean, it's better than drafting Red Bull, man, because at least with Pepsi, there's no real come down. It's just sugar. Um, but it's an interesting thing to have to examine.
Okay, yeah, because like it doesn't make sense. Like I don't know how any of these are gonna pan out. You, the listener, are the only hope they have.
You have the highest potential. You're not going to be in the NHL video game. I want to make that very clear. Um, and if you were, you wouldn't want to look because your rating would be so low that you would probably throw the game out.
Right.
Let's move on to Tampa Bay
Yeah.
because
So let's
these divisions are taking some time here.
yeah, so let's just go through. So we'll talk about the whole roster and then we'll go through some of them. So they started with Patchy the Pirate, on to Superintendent Chalmers, uh,
Which, again, a good chirper.
a Minecraft villager. Hopefully, it's not the nitwit. Uh, Principal Skinner from Edmonton,
That
and Man Ray.
Man Ray again from SpongeBob fame. You know, there's a lot of talk here between a principal and a superintendent, but there's not a lot of skill here. There's not a lot to go
Right, you're
around.
hoping that Minecraft villager has a good profession.
You also have to take away the fact, like for me personally, the fact that any team that has a bird on it is just basically a lost pick, unless we're talking like medieval or not medieval, but prehistoric times, and we're talking like dragon size, or we're talking like you know, a a bald eagle, for example, isn't going to be able to really do much in a ground game.
Right.
So, you know, it really stinks. And now actually realize now I'm reading Patchy the Pirate, not Patchy the Parrot.
Yeah.
So that's on me, hand up. But that will play into the theme later on.
Right. All right, and the Maple Leafs, they had Mike Francesa,
Nick Francesa,
uh,
sports
Garfield,
talk legend, going number one to a legend of a franchise, but then Garfield, yeah.
yeah,
Rick Sanchez and Greg Kinnear in the
followed
middle.
by
We have Iron Man.
yeah, Jerry Seinfeld and
Jerry
Slowpoke.
Seinfeld. I mean, we've seen what Jerry Seinfeld can do with being a Mets fan and actually throwing a good first pitch. I wouldn't put athletic endeavors too far away from what Seinfeld can do. My only problem is, as a Jewish man, we have limitations when it comes to athletics. Um, Slowpoke probably best suited to be a goaltender,
Yeah,
but
I mean, his
once
psychic,
he moves
right?
over,
Like stop everything in midair.
the only problem is speed. Once he picks a side to shoot on, the other side is wide open.
Okay, fair.
So I don't know that one. Uh, there are goaltenders who can be successful in that lens. It's just will he be?
Right, and so the Coyotes obviously have a lot of picks. They have Goofy, Plank, Psyduck, Troy Dan, Cosmo, Mrs. Puff, Raisin Brand's son,
Mhm.
Robbie Rotten, and Anderson De La Rosa. I don't know how much a sun is gonna help you on ice. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna need more equipment because they're in
Oh,
Arizona on ice fielding a sun.
yes, but if anybody's best suited for having to deal with the sun, it's the state of Arizona. Now, that being said, this sun comes with two scoops of fruit. We're talking the Raisin Bran guy. Um, Troy Dan is an absolute liability. The guy can barely understand basketball, and he's a
Right.
2K streamer. Anderson De La Rosa is an interesting last pick here because he no longer plays in Major League Baseball, but he was a player for about 12 years or for 17 years. So, I mean, never really long with an MLB team, but he's the best that they can have. Not to mention, it looks like he's a journeyman for sure. Um, Mrs. Puff, interestingly enough, only getting bigger with rage. Classic goaltender, you have to think.
Yeah, fair.
Um, but having a two by four on the forward lines is not going to help with Plank.
Nope.
Psyduck again, great at anticipating, but mobility with that bottom heavy figure is going to be an issue.
Yep.
It
Then
would be hilarious if we got canceled for body shaming a Pokemon.
then for the Blackhawks, they started off with Dwayne the Rock Johnson, followed by
Okay,
Penny from
Statter, Big
yeah
Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory,
We have our first
R2D2,
woman,
Frank
Castle.
Castle, and Sporticus.
Castle. All right, yeah. So Frank Castle is a comic book character from Punisher series. Looks to be Marvel comic. So look, we have Dwayne the Rock Johnson, we have R2D2, and we've got a Marvel superhero.
But okay, so R2D2, what like what help is he gonna be? He's on the ice. He can't hack anything.
True, but if there's anybody who's built to block a shot, it's a guy made of metal.
Okay, fair, fair.
Yeah, the software doesn't really mean anything here. I'll be honest with you. Um, but he may be good for instant replays. They can use him as kind of a pylon cam. Um, Sporticus here is, if we look here, not really the most athletic person. He was an Icelandic children's television show actor, or at least fictional character. You know, I think his knowledge of sports in itself is going to be an asset. But the theme here that keeps redeveloping is it somebody who can actually do anything?
Right.
Well, we have a lot of booth athletics here. We have somebody who knows their way around the game, but doesn't know how to play it very well.
Yeah. All right, on to the
But that doesn't
Avalanche.
last long because we have Michael Jordan with the Avalanche.
Yep.
Uh, Jordan being, of course, the GOAT. But then we follow that up with Gibby of iCarly and Shirtless fame. We have Trevor Phillips, which Trevor Phillips is an actor. Well, not really. He's a fictional character from Grand Theft Auto. But then again, Nazem Kadri was good enough to sport the maroon, so why isn't this guy? Uh, we have Goku, and then we have Sterling Archer to finish up. You know, so I see a lot of problem solving happening here. I see a lot of heroics with Jordan. I
So,
don't see a lot of actual completeness though.
I mean, they have athleticism in
I mean,
Goku, and I guess that's it.
Michael Jordan, I think you have athleticism.
Fair. But like, yeah, outside of that, I don't know. All right,
Yeah,
on to Dallas Stars. They start with Cranky Kong. Go next is Crimson Chin, then Megan Parker, Alec Baldwin, Lemmy, and Gary Bettman.
yeah. So I mean,
Talk about
I guess
conflict of interest first of all.
yeah, I was about to say the deck is, I guess, stacked a little bit in the favor of Dallas to start
Yeah,
the year. Um, but I don't know. Alec Baldwin strikes me as a guy who can do anything because his versatility in roles and uh, you know he brings the heat, he brings entertainment value. But as good as he is in a lot of areas, he's never really truly great in one area.
right.
Cranky Kong, just an absolute liability. I have no idea why you would take that guy with your first pick. Um, but you know, maybe it's a compensation for what later happened with the choice of Gary Beck.
Yeah, fair. All right, on to the Wild. They started with Sonic the Hedgehog, so going for a little bit of athleticism, even
Yeah,
though
we're talking goal scorer here.
the guy just rolls around normally, right?
Yes, but he rolls around at a speed that the defense can't keep up with.
Yeah, but
Um,
what is he doing on a surface with no traction?
and, if he spins where there is traction, why can't he spin where there isn't traction? It's
Fair.
not that he's trying to walk; he's trying to spin.
Okay. Then they go
Josh
with Sasha Baron Cohen. Uh, is that Wayne Gretzky?
Wayne Glensky,
Glensky.
this guy is an Oilers fan and a fake hockey player, who is very big, I guess, in the video game community. Um, so that's again, we have a joystick player, not so much a hockey stick player.
Right. Then they have Ricky LaFleur, Shaggy, Tenacious D, Dustin Henderson, Naruto, Birdo, and Coconut Head.
So I mean, we have one of the Trailer Park Boys here in Ricky LaFleur. That's a steal in itself. We're talking a Canadian-based show. We're talking a guy with grit, but you know, grit can only get you so far when you have Wayne Glensky on your line. Tenacious D is an interesting poll because we have to break up the group. Jack Black is already with the Rangers.
Right.
Dustin Henderson, you know, I'm not sure what to make of that one here. He's in Stranger Things, which I mean, I guess the sky's the limit for viewership, and we are talking the state of hockey. But then things kind of take a turn.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Birdo and Coconut Head. I don't know what those last two are, but I guess it's your late round picks, so have at it.
Yeah, I mean, seat fillers, I guess, or roster fillers. Coconut Head is from Ned's Declassified Survival Guide, just a guy with a kid with a bowl cut, so that's not going to help. And then Birdo is, let's see here. Birdo is one of your Super Mario characters, the one with the big circular mouth,
Oh,
the pink one.
yeah.
So
No.
yeah, that's not really going to help with stopping pucks.
Okay. On to the Predators. They start with
Toe Mater,
Bill Mater.
the Cars character played by Larry the Cable Guy,
Yeah.
but then they get the main guy from Cars in the second, which is Lightning McQueen. And I mean, when you have two cars on the ice, and then you pair it with Drake and Josh,
Yeah, that's kind of a steal though. They got two for the price of one pick.
yeah, and we know that seats are going to sell because we have Paul McCartney, which is an instant sellout anywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, then we have James Murray from the Impractical Jokers. Again, not the most athletic uh, guy, but the most athletic of the Impractical Jokers, which is not saying much.
That doesn't say
We have
much.
Phineas of Phineas and Ferb, which we're talking about a stick figure here,
Yeah.
basically. But then we have Grimace, and I don't know about you, but like Grimace and Gritty. Just imagine the Twitter videos now of what happens when those
Yeah.
two meet up. We're
But
talking
they
a rivalry in the making.
but then they have Josh from Blues Clues.
Yeah, that's not great. But you know what? At least they got they got one of the two actual people in Blues Clues.
Fair. All right, on to the St.
They
Louis
didn't get the
Blues,
mailbox,
who
which is
didn't get the Blues Clues character. They
yeah, they
got
didn't get Cartman, which we know Cartman plays goaltender because he's fat. That's not me being uh rejecting political correctness. You can go check South Park episodes for that. That's just fact. Then we find the Canadian Tire guy. I don't know
a
what we're doing with
creeper.
that one. We got a creeper. We've got Bert Gummer, which I'm not sure who that is.
You also
We have
got Denzel Crocker, Walter
again from the
Walrus,
Fairly Odd Parents.
and Batman.
So yeah, Batman's probably a steal
Yeah,
here
that late.
in the sense that he probably does the most of anyone on this roster. But Cartman is your solidified. Like, I don't blame them for taking Cartman first. That's a goaltender if there ever was one. The
Right.
only question here is, are you getting child Cartman or are you going to get a grown up Cartman? Because a grown up Cartman, we're talking a guy who's going to be a balloon in front of the net. Uh, Child Cartman probably doesn't translate to the real world's 10 by 6 goaltending frame. So
Yeah, and I don't know how the rest of those are gonna like. Do you really want something that's gonna explode on the ice?
I mean, if there's look, no, you don't, but a puck is going to do that more than any other sport equipment is, other than I don't know somebody with a helmet on in
Fair.
football that's just going for your head.
All
Like,
right.
yeah, I don't know.
All right, on to the Winnipeg Jets. They start with Happy Gilmore. On
Yeah,
to
so
Michael
Happy
Scott.
Gilmore. Well, okay, we have to break this down a little. Happy Gilmore, a guy who wants to play hockey, he goes plays golf with a Bruins jersey on, and he plays golf because of his mediocre skating skills. So we know what he can do. He's got a big clapper. He's going to beat
Yeah,
was
but
it
can
Chara
he
with
can he go up and down, right? Up and down the ice? Like, can he get it there in time to set up for his clapper?
I don't know, but he may not have to because we've got Michael Sky here too. Also somebody who has a bit of a hockey background. And we're looking at maybe the best solidified center group here. We do have Diane Keaton, which that's gonna be a little bit tough. God rest her soul. I'm pretty sure she's not with us anymore. Um, we have Baggles, who is, I mean, do you know who Baggles is?
Nope.
Baggles is just a garbage bag filled, uh, with, yeah, filled garbage bag from iCarly with a smiley face on it. So that's going to be not great. And also, let's see here. Oh, breaking news: Diane Keaton not dead. So forgive me for that. Morty Smith, comes in next. Morty Smith of Rick and Morty. Now that's gonna sting a little bit right now because they did lose the guy who does the voice.
Yeah,
Just recently.
and
We
then
have
the
yeah.
Cleveland Brown,
Mhm.
Hugh Neutron, Rhydon, and Bob
Bob
Belcher.
Belcher. So right
So
on, I think. Yeah,
Rhydon's the goalie because he's
yeah,
just a giant rock.
yeah. Rock type Pokemon. You absolutely have to think that.
Then
Bob
Baggles is kind
Belcher.
of useless.
Yeah, Baggles is useless. Although I could see a filled up garbage bag, not an empty garbage bag, but a filled up garbage bag. Let's say we fill them with cement. Could be the backup goaltender. No
Fair.
mobility, but like,
Yeah, how are
just
you gonna
say
get the puck on the
they're
ice?
like the Sedines. We get two of them. We call them the Deans, and they just both play at the same time. Take away the lower 2/3 like Matt Murray used to. Um, Bob Belcher. I mean, if we're ever talking about a guy with a lack of motivation, it's the guy from Bob's Burgers. So I'm not sure here. There's a lot of ambition there. There's just I don't know. I don't know. It is the best assembled hockey team and the biggest potential
Right.
so far. So
Well,
let's take a look at the Pacific.
right. So starting off with the Ducks drafting Baby Luigi first. I mean, we already went through this with Baby Mario. We don't think like Baby Mario is a good choice last, let alone first equivalent,
Right,
right?
but then again, Trevor Zegras is a very good player, but at the same time, you can't really win with how he plays. So
Yeah. And then we have
what's the difference?
Rob Gronkowski, Will Smith,
Okay.
Squidward, and Danny DeVito.
So it's an interesting group for sure.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, Gronk,
the only one out of there is like Gronk, who's
Gronk
athletic.
athletic for sure. Um, Will Smith, athletic in his younger days, but I mean, that's just a bag full of laundry as far as concerned with drama right now. Like, you never
Yeah.
know which side of Will Smith you're going to get anymore. Also, I'm not a big fan of having the Scientologist angle in the locker room. That's going to divide everybody just as much as Squidward is. But Danny DeVito, I mean, if there is ever a glue guy, that's Danny DeVito.
Right. But I
Um,
don't see much coming out of these picks. So
no,
on
me
to
either.
the Calgary Flames. We got Bugs Bunny, Bowser, Steve from Minecraft, Vince, Adult
Oh man.
Man,
And
uh,
then we have Tom from Tom
Tom
and
from Tom and
Jerry,
Jerry, Bob the
the
Tomato,
tomato.
Paul McCree, and Paul Pogba.
Okay, so with Pogba here, we have another athlete, which is the good news. Well, then we have the elusiveness of Bugs Bunny, which is even better to stack with the elusiveness of Tom and Jerry. But what I don't see here is gaining the blue line correct. I'm
Right, but
seeing a
okay.
lot of
So
running.
the Bowser is the goalie then, because he'll just like not move.
Mhm.
I would assume. Yeah, so I mean, like, if they don't get scored on because they have some giant shell that's basically blocking the whole net, wouldn't that be just as effective?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Islanders approach.
Fair. All right, on to the Oilers. We have Foghorn Leghorn, Rick Astley, great. Barney Stinson, Glenn Quagmire,
Hmm.
Brian Quinn,
Hmm.
Q, Handsome Squidward, Cole Phelps, and Vincent Chase.
Okay, so we have Vincent Chase and Handsome Squidward by far the most attractive and highly confident players in this organization. Then you uh, pair that with the casual sex encounters that are pursued by both Barney Stinson and Glenn Quagmire, and we're looking at the potential to be highly productive in a non-hockey capacity.
Uh,
Uh,
then you have Rick Astley.
but yeah, you do. Rick Astley will keep everybody entertained, but I'm looking at the leadership of Foghorn Leghorn. We're talking about a guy who's very confident, takes everybody under their wing in a way where even though he's very much wrong about a lot of things, he speaks to the group with an intensity and a confidence that allow you to think that he is always right.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, the only thing we're gonna have to worry about with him is it politically correct in this day and age to be able to say, "quote I say boy," over and over again? That could get a little bit dicey, and that could be a PR
Disaster.
issue. Yeah.
All right, on to the San Jose,
No, Los
Los
Angeles
Angeles
Kings
Kings. We have Major Asshole.
again from Spaceballs, the major asshole. Um, we have Squilliam Fancy Son, again, another version of Squidward, I guess. We have Steve from Blue's Clues. So we know at some points he's like Joe Thornton. He's going to stay for a long time, then we're going to see him
Right.
leave.
Then we have
Uh,
Johnny Bravo, Dale
okay.
Earnhardt Jr., and Jake from State Farm.
Okay.
Getting in some pretty good advertising money, I'm assuming. Then.
Oh, yeah. Between Earnhardt and Jake from State Farm, we're looking, and patch money in today's NHL. We're talking sponsors galore. The
Right.
problem is here, what can we actually do with a
You can't.
squid, yeah, other than throw it on the ice in Detroit.
Yeah.
Um, Steve from Blue's Clues, I mean, again, a nice piece, good for fanfare, but there's not a lot here. Johnny Bravo has the muscles to get it done, but doesn't have the skills. We know that in his ability to fail in every endeavor he's ever put himself in. So this
Right.
one's going to be tough. This is true LA Kings of the past 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. On to San Jose. They have Ned Flanders,
Mhm.
Bender, Honky the Barclays Center car, great.
Mhm.
Donkey from Shrek, Jimmy
Uh-huh.
Neutron, Thanos, oh god, the Wii character Matt, and Regina George. I just want to start by saying, how is a donkey gonna balance on four skates? Uh,
No, that donkey couldn't really balance on the ground much either.
yeah, exactly. How's the donkey gonna balance on four skates? Thanos,
Um,
does he have the stones?
you got to hope that if anybody does, it's him, because I don't see a net front presence here, other than maybe the Barclays Center
Yeah,
card.
but
But
if he has
nobody's
all of the
ever seen
Infinity
that thing.
Stones, it's over. He just wins.
Mhm. Yeah. Flanders is controversial here. I feel like he belongs more in the player development, coaching, maybe even a team counselor. But I
Yeah,
don't know. This one's interesting to put on the ice.
yeah. And you got a Wii character who literally just plays games all day through to Wii Sports, I guess.
Yeah, no real joints there either.
Yeah. All
So
right.
we'll see.
On to
We do
the.
have the Kraken, who have one of the few actual hockey players here. They have Doug Glatt. But
But
then
I
again,
mean, hold on. You say one of the few actual hockey players, but doesn't Phil Kessel consume enough hot dogs that a hot dog is an actual hockey player now too?
that's a fair point. But I was actually going to compare Doug Glatt to Matt Cook and hope that Matt Cook would be his ceiling because Matt Cook could sometimes score, but let's be real, he was there for non-scoring purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have Red Foreman from that '70s show, which is a nice touch. You have the science of Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future.
You have
We do
Sandy
have Phil
Cheeks
Kessel on this team in the form of a hot dog. And then we finish off with Elmer Fudd.
and Sandy Cheeks.
Yes. Uh, so this one's interesting. I feel like this is a team that doesn't finish in last place. Uh, Playoff potential compared to some of the other rosters, and how bad they've been, but like this is not my top cup contender here. I think
No way.
right now Winnipeg is my top cup contender.
Uh-huh. All right, and then the Canucks. They have Stewie Griffin, the Cookie Monster, Dennis System from Always Sunny, Mega Mind.
Isn't even a real person, it's just an actual system.
Yeah. Some Schnitzel. Sorry, it's not a hot dog. Not counts. Doesn't count as a hockey player.
Mhm.
Gary the Snail and a puppy. Well, they have team morale at an all-time high.
Yes, and this is all time for a child. But there's very limited upside here. This is a
No.
basement team if there ever was one.
Yep.
Dewey can be as smart as he wants to be, but like let's just say what it is. This team is very limited in potential.
Right.
Megamind is probably your best player. Gary the Snail is an absolute liability. Uh, we basically have a pie, not even a pie chart, but like a lined pro cons list in the Dennis system here.
Yeah.
So I mean, you throw a whiteboard on the ice and see if you get any goals. Cookie Monster, I hear he's eating healthier now, but again, I think we're gonna have trouble getting him in skates.
Right.
Um, so this one is a bottom dweller for
Yeah.
me.
All right. On the last team, we got Vegas. They started with a 2005 Toyota Sienna. I feel like that's just the
Yeah,
worst version of any of Car's car. Uh, Duke
pretty much.
Nukem, Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Springtrap, Giga Chad, and Mickey Mouse.
I'm gonna let you take this one here. I'm of the opinion that again, it's not a bad team.
No, this one actually has like usable pieces, I think. Uh like Leonardo can't be that. Like Leonardo has to be some good. Obi-Wan Kenobi has the force, so even if he can't balance, he can use the force to balance.
Hmm.
Mickey Mouse, they always have Disney on ice, so Mickey Mouse should be able to skate too.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. But look, they treated Marc-Andre Fleury like a 2005 Toyota Sienna, so this is nothing new.
Yeah, but
Um,
also like a 2005 Toyota Sienna is just a worse version of like Lightning McQueen and all the other cars.
yes, but we're talking huge mess. We're talking the absolute brick wall, aside from the one character that was the Oculate, I believe, who was literally a brick wall. So I mean, we're talking park that thing in front of the net, and you don't need a 2005 Sienna to drive. You need it to be stationary,
Yeah,
and that's exactly what this dumpster pile can do.
right.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think they
Who's
have
your
usable pieces. They could be pretty good.
who's your cup champion here? I know this is a lot to take in.
I mean, if we go back to where was Winnipeg?
Happy Gilmore and Michael Scott.
Happy Gilmore and Michael Scott over here. Yeah,
Central all the way
these
on the right.
guys. Winnipeg is probably it. But
Yeah,
Vegas should
I
make the
think
playoffs, like, and make it quite far in the like good enough in the playoffs. I think.
I would agree with that. This has been wildly entertaining. Again, thank you to that Twitter user. Who I need to find again.
RYBRZ. Thank
Yes,
you.
RYBRZ. Um, for allowing us to take some of his content and even though it was automated and let us do some fun stuff with it. Um, so yeah, we'll have to make sure that we throw him into the announcement when this goes up, at least on Twitter.
Yeah. All right. And on to some actual NHL. We are looking at the All Star game in South Florida. Let's play some ice hockey in South Florida. Great idea.
Yeah.
Um.
I love how the NHL just keeps taking the All-Star game to places where like tourism will go up from people who actually live in colder climates, but they'll never bring the All-Star game to a place where it actually makes sense. Let's put it in San Jose. Let's put it in Tampa Bay. Let's put it in Sunrise, Florida. We know what these places are all really good at is not being hockey places. Last year was LA.
Yeah. All right. Let's
It's
just go
not how
through
you
the
grow the
teams
game.
and let's just talk about like ones we didn't expect, but I'm pretty sure we expected most of these.
Yeah,
Um.
I mean, hockey all-stars are like the simplest thing to predict.
Yeah.
Uh because by rule they take a guy from each team and it doesn't take a lot of research to figure out who that guy is going to be.
No.
Normally it's just the statistical leader in points. So yeah.
Yeah. So we have Sidney Crosby from Pittsburgh, no surprise there. Johnny Gaudreau from
Mhm.
Columbus, no surprise there. Kevin Hayes from Philly. I don't think we had a definite of who was coming out of Philly at the beginning of the season, but not surprising if you look at how Philly's doing. Jack Hughes
He's on
again.
the biggest contract of Philly.
Yeah. Jack Hughes. No surprise there. Brock Nelson also again. Uh,
Mhm.
Ovechkin again. Svechnikov.
Again,
Yeah, and then
I
Shesterkin.
mean he's the name brand guy for Carolina.
Yeah, yeah, and then Shesterkin, which again, basically keeping them
Yeah,
afloat.
yeah. I mean Shesterkin's their best player,
Yeah,
which is crazy with how much money they've spent on Panarin and all those other guys on the offensive side.
yeah, and then for the Atlantic, we have Kucherov, Larkin, Mitch Marner, Suzuki, Tage Thompson, Kachuk, both of them, and Ulmark. The only one that like nobody would have expected, I guess, at the beginning would have been Ulmark. I think you would have expected an offensive threat from Boston more so than the goalie, but like, yeah, as of now, like you knew he was
Also, the
getting picked.
fastest goaltender to reach like 25 wins in a season,
Yeah,
which is crazy because he wasn't even supposed to be the number one guy going into the year.
yep, exactly. Which is why I'm like, this is the only kind of like surprise if you're looking at the beginning of the year to now.
I will say some slight surprise here when we're talking the initial rosters coming out. Austin Matthews wasn't on it. It was Marner instead.
But
But
Marner's doing better, right?
yeah, but Matthews is arguably, aside from McDavid, right now this current version of the NHL's poster boy.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, fair. Anyway, on to the Central. We have Kaprasov, Keller from
Oh,
Arizona,
Kaprizov.
Kaprizov,
Hmm.
no. uh,
No, not the same.
Robertson,
Chris
Tarasenko,
Robertson. Hmm.
Seth Jones, which I like. Chicago's just a dumpster fire, so like I couldn't care who they were sending. Cal McCarr, Morrissey, and UC Saros.
Now, what pops out to me here is Tarasenko being back in all-star form. Because yeah, he's only 31, but like it's been a while since that guy was really playing anywhere near an all-star level. He's only a two-time all-star. I'm looking it up here. Let's see if I can find out when the last year was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, he's three all-star games, two-time all-star. That makes no sense. Hockey reference, gotta jump on that. He hasn't made an all-star team since 2017.
Fair.
A long time. 6 years between All-Star appearances after being a 3-time in a row All-Star is a long time to fall off.
Fair. But I don't
Seth
know. Like,
Jones,
none of these are surprising, except for the fact that Chicago gets to
Josh
send somebody.
Morrissey. Josh Morrissey. I mean, I guess I don't know who else you would send for Winnipeg. Um,
Exactly. All right, on to the Pacific, which has Connor McDavid, like you were saying.
also, yeah, Josh
Uh,
Morrissey. Oh, never mind. ESPN told me he had 0 goals on the season. That's why that's wrong.
yeah. So the Pacific has Fiala, Kadri, McDavid, Pedersen, Terry, Carlson. Uh, what's the first guy? Matty Beniers,
Beniers.
Beniers, and Logan Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, really know what to make of this. I feel like this is the weakest division outside of McDavid running the show.
Yeah, but
Erik
it's
Karlsson's
three
having a
on
nice
three.
year.
So is it really the weakest division?
Yes, but we're talking, you actually have to be able to put out a few lines here. And aside from Kadri, McDavid, and Pedersen and Carlson on the first line of 3-on-3, it's a massive talent drop off after that.
But I mean, like
Yeah, you have Pedersen, but like
Fiala Pedersen is okay, and then I see what you're saying.
it's okay. It's nowhere near what the first line is.
Yeah. All right, on to the best part, the fan vote. So if
Best
you
part.
are a Metro fan, you can vote for Artemi Panarin.
Oh no, it's already done. It's already
Oh,
done.
I know.
These are the guys who
Oh,
got in off of the fan
oh,
vote.
these wait. People voted for Panarin, Fox, and Sorokin. What was? Huh? Well, okay, out of all of this, Pasternak makes it yes. Austin Matthews makes it from fan vote yes. Vasilevsky should, like, yes.
Yes, the Atlantic by far was the most like it was more surprising that these guys weren't already there.
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest no-brainer. And I will say, going back to the Metro, this is a thing where the NHL and the teams don't do a good job because the teams, unlike in the MLB, where in MLB fan vote, there's like 5 guys eh, that they put in a pool, and there's like pick somebody from this pool of 5 guys. Each NHL team, because I know from the Penguins Twitter, was like, here's 5 guys from our team, vote for them. It's like, okay, so this is a clusterfuck because every team is basically just going to vote for their 5 guys. And
Yeah.
so basically the team with the most media market like interactivity on social media
Which
win.
for
And
the
that's
Metro is
amazing.
always New York.
Yes.
So,
And New York was reflected as such.
because otherwise, like, I don't know, would I really want vote for Panarin, Fox, and Sorokin? No. Okay, Central, Hellebuck. Okay, McKinnon and Rantanen. Okay, I mean, sure.
Again, McKinnon should have been there anyway. But this is the flaw with we get one representative per team system.
Yeah. So I guess, but also I'm pretty sure that leaves the Central with like no defense. Oh no, they have a lot of defense.
Seth Jones,
No,
Kale McCarr.
and Morrissey.
Oh, yeah.
But the Atlantic, no defense.
Yeah,
Kucherov,
that
Larkin,
that
Marner,
one's
Suzuki,
interesting.
Thompson, Kachuk. Kachuk is all forwards, and then Matthews, Pasternak forwards.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But basically most teams play a fourth forward as a defenseman on the power play anyway. So it's 3-on-3. It's more aligned to power play kind of play than it is to regular.
Yeah,
We'll see.
but like it kind of sucks how no defenseman made it in the Atlantic at all. Like, are they all that bad?
I mean, kind of, other than McAvoy.
Yeah, no. All right, and from the Pacific we have Drysaitel, Horvat, and Skinner.
The
Drysaitel,
real flaw here is a second Canuck being in the All-Star game.
Horvat's gonna win the fan vote all the time. I'm not surprised.
That's really a shame. Well, if he was going to win the fan vote, he should have been not in the fan vote category. He should have just been a regular all-star vote based on voting.
Fair. All right, on to the NFL for a quick thing, right? It's the championship weekend.
Playoffs, yeah.
So we have the Bengals, Chiefs, and the Cowboys, Eagles?
Oh, 49ers and Eagles
49ers,
and
Eagles.
Bengals and Chiefs.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
Closer to the top.
the
Closer to the top on the graphic.
yeah. I am reading. We have the wrong name in our graphic.
I didn't put that in the graphic.
Oh,
Gamecovers.com, the
oh.
gambling company that apparently doesn't specialize in reading.
Yeah, it says it has the San
I'll let them
Francisco
come after
logo,
me for
but
that.
the Cowboys name.
I'll let them come after me for that. That's their own fault. "Mm, we want you to take down our graphic." Well, then spell the fucking names right.
Yeah, so it's the 49ers, Eagles, and Chiefs, Bengals. What do you think on the AFC game?
Oh boy. I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs, even with Mahomes' injury,
Yeah.
they seem the fact that the Bengals went through the Bills, like the Bills didn't seem ready, and I feel like
No.
at some point the Bengals won't be ready. It's not just me being a Steelers fan saying that like I can never see the Bengals winning a Super Bowl because after last year I don't know. It's more just I mean the Chiefs don't even fucking run the ball. And even good teams defensively still can't stop them from scoring 30 points a game.
Right.
So like how can you stop a team that chooses to be one dimensional and still succeeds?
Yeah. And
So I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. I still think the Chiefs have an edge in this game, so I'll go with them too. All
I
right.
do think ironically the bigger toss up is the 49ers and
Yeah, aside from me not wanting the Eagles to win, it is pretty much a toss up, I think.
yeah, I think that the Eagles probably boast the most talent and have made the most moves to solidify depth. But
Mhm.
the 49ers are the number one defense. And the fact of the matter is, it didn't matter who was at quarterback, they were still scoring. So, like, I think this is of the two games here, I'm more inclined to think that this is an offensive shootout, despite the fact that the 49ers defense is more built to slow it down than the Chiefs Bengals game.
Right. Yeah, so I
I don't know.
mean, if it goes the way I think it does for the AFC, then the Chiefs are in, and if it goes the way I want for the NFC, then it's Chiefs and 49ers for the bowl. All right, you got anything else?
Oh, this was a lot of fun. So I mean, I had a lot of fun with this one. I
Yeah.
knew this was going to be fun when I found the bot. If there's any other bot accounts that come out in the future that allows us to do something like this, granted, not the same fictional characters, because
Yep.
it's more funny when you see it from the first time. So yeah, but I had a lot of fun with this one. I knew, like I said, I knew from months ago that this was going to be something. Even if we stored it, we had to come back to this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't think the content was going to be so easy and the jokes would write themselves as easily in the moment as they did, but that's what
Yep.
made it even better. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in and catch you next time.